can't even explain how I'm feeling right now, man.
The camera opens on silence, the kind of silence that only exists in courtrooms moments before lives are shattered. A grieving father stands in the aisle, gripping a t-shirt printed with the face of his baby girl. His voice rises through the tension, raw and shaking. "You took my baby from me. You took my daughter from me, bro. You getting 15 years for taking my daughter from me?" And in those broken words, the entire room feels the weight of a murder so senseless it's impossible to comprehend. This is the world of courtroom eruptions. Moments where rage, grief, and justice collide head-on. Today we dive into 3 cases where emotions boiled over so violently that judges, deputies, and even family members lost control. These aren't just crimes, they're snapshots of humanity at its breaking point. And nowhere does that breaking point hit harder than the case of Jesse Outley, the shooter accused of ending the life of an 11-month-old baby girl, Dior Harris. Jesse Outley, in April 2021, Syracuse, New York, a small silver car sits at a stoplight. Inside, an 11-month-old baby buckled safely into her car seat. Her name is Dior. She has no idea that the next few seconds will be the last of her life. A road rage misunderstanding becomes a death sentence. According to police, the car Dior was in accidentally sideswiped another vehicle. Instead of pulling over, apologizing, or calling authorities, the other driver, the getaway driver, chased them, and the shooter inside opened fire. Not once, not twice, 13 times. 3 bullets ripped through the car seat and into baby Dior. The shooter fled, the city cried, and a family's world ended. 2 years later, after endless searching, endless waiting, and endless nights replaying the last moment they saw their daughter alive, police identified the driver, 27-year-old Chavez Ocasio. His plea deal led investigators straight to the gunman, 26-year-old Jesse Outley. He was charged with murder, attempted murder, and weapons charges. His trial was long, chaotic, and emotionally draining. Every hearing included eruptions, yelling, sobbing, threats, the sound of 2 families tearing apart. The most heartbreaking voice was Dior's father, Shaquille Harris. He confronted Outley again and again.
You took my baby from me, you sucker, bro. Boy, you took my daughter from me, bro. You took my baby from me, man. You copping out the 15 years, bro. You getting 15 years for taking my daughter from me, bro.
"You took my baby from me. You suck, bro. You got 15 years for taking my daughter from me, bro. You killed her 15 days before her first birthday." And in that final sentencing hearing, when the entire courtroom fell silent, Harris stepped forward, eyes locked on the man who killed his daughter. He lifted the shirt showing Dior's smiling face. "This is her, bro. You took her from me." Behind him, Dior's mother, Desiree Seymour, shouted, "We can see your people." The tension snapped. Her grief exploded into screams, her body shaking so violently, deputies had to intervene. Years of bottled-up devastation erupted all at once. Even the judge struggled to maintain control. In the end, Jesse Outley was sentenced to 40 years to life for the murder of baby Dior. Her getaway driver, Ocasio, received 15 years. But for Dior's parents, no number of years will ever fill the empty car seat in the back of their car. No punishment will ever erase that night. Their grief will echo long after the courtroom doors close. Frank DeLeon. When a mother's rage turns a courtroom into a battlefield. January 2022, Houston, Texas. A 16-year-old girl named Diamond Alvarez is walking her dog near her home. She's texting her boyfriend, arranging to meet him. She trusts him. She loves him. But waiting for her is death. Prosecutors say 17-year-old Frank DeLeon shot her 22 times in the back and chest, execution style, then left her bleeding in a park. Her mother, Anna Machado, was the one who found her daughter's body, still warm, still wearing her jacket, lying face down in the grass. It is a sight no mother should ever have to carry. DeLeon was arrested and charged with murder. To avoid trial, he accepted a plea deal. But a plea deal does not erase pain. It only compresses it until it explodes. At sentencing, Diamond's mother took the stand. She looked Frank dead in the eyes.
My daughter, not to hurt my daughter!
You begged my daughter not to hurt my daughter, and then look what you did. Her voice shook. Her hands trembled. Her grief turned into something deadly. And then, everything snapped. She lunged toward Frank. Deputies grabbed her. But they weren't ready for what happened next. A man in a blue and white shirt, Diamond's uncle, burst forward like a bolt of lightning. He leaped over the benches, sprinted past the deputies, and punched Frank square in the face. Chaos erupted. Frank's mother jumped in to defend her son. Another woman tackled Frank's mother to the ground. Fists flew. People screamed. Benches toppled. The judge bolted for safety. The entire courtroom, including another defendant in a separate case, descended into a full-scale brawl. That second defendant, Michael Devin Combs, used the chaos to slip out of his shackles and escape. Authorities didn't even realize he was gone until he was already out of the building. It was pandemonium, all ignited by one mother's pain. When the courtroom finally calmed, Machado apologized through tears.
But it's so much hate, because I want my daughter back. And what he did it was horrible.
It was wrong. We're not monsters, but I want my daughter back. What he did, it was horrible. Seeing him laugh in my face. Her rage was human, understandable, real. As for De Leon, he was sentenced to 45 years in prison and must serve at least half before being eligible for parole. Diamond's mother will never again see her daughter walk through the front door, but she made sure the man who killed her felt a piece of her pain, even if only for a moment. Tristan Lamoreaux, the brother who broke in Cedar City, Utah. The year is 2009. When police entered the small home, they found a young woman, 19-year-old Misty, dead in the bathroom. Shot several times in the head. Her husband, 24-year-old Tristan Lamoreaux, was arrested as he tried to flee the scene. He confessed. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. There would be no trial, only sentencing. But sentencing hearings often bring out emotions that have nowhere else to go. In the gallery sat Misty's family, her siblings, her mother, her father, and her brother Jason Wilson, a man struggling to hold back a tidal wave of rage. When he walked to the podium to give his victim impact statement, he tried to speak calmly. He tried to maintain control. But as he began describing the nightmares, the grief, the destruction this murder brought into their family, his voice cracked, his hands clenched, his breathing sharpened, and every eye in the courtroom sensed the shift. Jason looked at Tristan. Tristan looked away. Jason took one step forward. The bailiffs moved. He took another step, his jaw trembling, his body shaking with years of pain compressed into one moment. A bailiff reached for him, and Jason exploded. He sprinted behind the attorney's table, diving toward Lamoreaux, arm pulled back for a full swing. But before his fist could land, 3 bailiffs tackled him. Tristan was shoved to the floor. Jason was pinned against the wooden rail, shouting, crying, fighting against the deputies holding him down. It was a heartbreaking image. A family forever broken by violence, trying desperately to reclaim even one moment of justice with their own hands. Jason was removed from the courtroom. He faced no charges. When the room finally calmed, sentencing resumed. Tristan Lamoreaux was sentenced to 15 years to life for the murder of his wife. But for Misty's family, justice will never feel whole, because the pain left behind is a life sentence too. Closing 3 scenes, 3 eruptions, 3 families destroyed beyond repair. In each case, Outley, De Leon, Lamoreaux, the courtroom wasn't just a place for justice. It was a battlefield of broken hearts, a place where grief becomes physical, where pain becomes uncontrollable, where the human soul shows what it looks like when it finally cracks. Because there is no such thing as a clean murder case. There is only trauma and the silent rooms where it finally spills over.